our first fish of the day. Did he come off? No, he didn't come off. He swam at the boat. It's a good start right there. Chris and I have an incredible spring day. I mean an incredible spring day out here. Chris started out with a spinnerbait. I started out with an American Original Deep Smoothie. A bait made in America. We should be buying only baits made in America. The way I look at it. Oh, that's a good start right there. I mean a great start. You have to kind of be a little careful with that mouthful of hooks. And boy, he's got them. He's got them all in his face. Look at that. Well, how about, that's the way to do it. Did you see that just fell out? He had like 4 hooks in him. Ended up only 1. That's a good way to start. We got a great spring day. We don't know what we catch them on. Honestly, to be perfectly honest, we should be able to catch them on a lot of stuff. Chris is throwing a Jimmy Houston spinnerbait back there. I caught that on American Original. But this is one of those kind of days. The water temperature, 63.36, 63 degrees, 63 degree water. It wasn't but just a little while ago that this water was down in the 40s. So something big jumped over there.
I saw that.
Something hit something over there, didn't it? Throw your spinnerbait over there. That's up in the... There he is. Come out of that grass.
Got another one?
I got another one, babe. They're eating that smoothie. About the same size. It's a male there. That's a male. Oh, nice sized fish. That's a good sized male, though.
Kind of rough looking though.
Yeah, it's beginning to spawn, I think.
Somebody got hold of him.
Yeah, I might have. I haven't got to take a good look at him yet. Try to get that hook out of him. Yeah, he's been, yeah, it looks like right there. I see that right there you're talking about. A water turkey. Y'all have heard me complain about those water turkeys forever. That's the deal. I just popped it out of some grass right there, honey. That grass is growing up pretty high already for this early in the year. But it's been such a nice warm weather. And right now, when we're having a bad day, it's usually like 1 or 2 bad days. The other day, just last weekend, the high was 40 one day, 43 or something like that. Just barely over 40 degrees. And today it's supposed to be 90 degrees before the day's out. There's one.
You got another one?
I got another one.
You're a turkey.
I'm a turkey, huh? Ooh, that's a nice fish. Look at that fish. Oh, that's a nice one. That's a big female there. Big old female. Look at her belly. That's a good looking fish right there. Oh, getting this boat, baby doll. She's hooked completely outside of the mouth. See that? Completely outside of the mouth. There's a big pretty fish right there. Get all my hooks out of her. Well, she was hooked though. Turn loose the bait, girl. And you're right, I am. Look at the belly on that, and that's the kind of fish you want to catch in the springtime. See that big broad belly? That's a girl bass right there. I'm talking a girl bass. I love them. I love them, I love them, I love them. I got another rod with a crankbait on it.
Got one.
You got one? You got one. Oh, you got a crappie. Oh, what'd you do? Pick up a Roadrunner? Put it in the live well, babe.
I believe I will.
You believe you will? That's a male too. Yeah, let me get down there, and as soon as you get him unhooked, drop him in the live well, then I'll get down there and start your live well out. You give up on your spinnerbait and you thought you'd catch some dinner, huh? Mm-hmm. That'd be a good deal. That'd be real good. That'd be just fine. How about that? How about that? Huh? All right, I turn that baby over on recirculate. Recirculate. Turn my aerator on. Turn the oxygen on. We're in business. Catch about 10 more of those. I'll get to eat some crappie fillets. Whoa, that's a big crappie.
I don't know if that's going to be a crappie or not.
I don't think it's a crappie either. Keep him away from my power poles.
Just going wherever he
and the
goes.
ladder. You got the ladder back there in case you fall out. You can get back in the boat. You got him? Oh, golly, honey. Bigger than ones I caught.
You gonna come and get him?
We'll have to, aren't I?
Yep.
You're gonna have to bring him up here to the front of the boat. I'm not coming back there. You got 20-pound test line on there. Golly, look at that. Look at that. Golly, look at that. That's a 5-pound bass.
I think we might have to go to the house and get another spinning rod.
Ooh. I may have to put my spinning rod on here in a minute. You keep doing that, babe. I might have to do that. I'm gonna keep throwing what I'm throwing right now. Hey guys and girls, as you know, I have been in a quest to try to catch the Oklahoma State record. And you're not gonna see that on this video, but you're gonna see a couple of really, really big fish. But I wanna show you right now how to set up your Garmin Livescope, your Panoptic Livescope. And I learned all of this from my buddy Josh Jones. Josh has been running that Livescope for about 3 years now. He's a crappie guide here in Oklahoma that catches 100 crappie a day just routinely. And he's also a bass fishing guide also, and that's something he just started doing a little bit later. And he charges quite a bit to bass guide, I think about $1,000, because when he's bass fishing guide, he's mostly teaching people how to run the machine. But I'm gonna show you on this video how we set that up to get the most advantage of it. Now, you can't just set it up one way and leave it. If you could do that, we just have Garmin set those settings on automatic, and you go to automatic and everybody be perfect. So you have to tweak it and play with it as you go along. But I'm gonna show you some things that we set up, and we leave some of the things just about the same all the time. And then we change the gain around. We'll change some things around depending on whether we're in clear water or dirty water, how deep we're fishing. It makes the main thing is the depth and how much, you know, if you got a lot of trash fish in the lake, if you got a lot of clutter and dirt and trash in the lake, things that's showing up on your locator that you really don't want to see. So you might change your gain around a little bit. And keep in mind, as I'm showing you this, that I'm not an expert on it. I've only had these units for a short period of time myself, but I'm learning every single day. But here's the way you want to set your unit up. First, I'm just going to go ahead and pull my trolling motor out of the water, because here's one of the things that I had wrong to begin with. This is your transducer right here. This is your Livescope. And when it's installed on most boats, it's turned around like that right there. Now that's fine if you've got your trolling motor mounted on the other side, you've got your prop pointed to the outside. I've got this on the left side of the boat, and I've got the prop to the inside of the boat, which is the way I carry mine, because I don't want my prop out there to run into stuff around the trees and stuff, if banging into docks or anything like that. So what you want to do on this, if you've got your prop to the inside mounted on the left side, means your trolling motor, this is up here. If you had it the other way, it's going to be down on the other side. That would be fine. But with your prop to the inside, I'm going to rotate that 2 clicks, 1, 2, to the left, counterclockwise. 2 clicks to the left. Now I've got my transducer shining out there where I want it. So, all righty. So that's one of the key things you want to do. We're going to do the rest back here on the Panoptic. Now I've got these locators all Ethernetted together. So I've got that one on a different transducer, but the one in the back, actually, anybody sitting back in the back can see exactly what I've got right there. You can see right there, you know, real easily. We are in, I'll just grab this down here where I can kind of turn that motor around. But you see what we've got right there. As I move my motor, you see the change, that's grass on the bottom. That's the bottom right there. I'm in 17.3 foot of water. I don't see any fish there. And what we do is we just scan, we run and scan back and forth, looking for big fish. Not fish, but big fish. We find a lot of fish we don't even throw at. Sometimes we might go 20 or 30 minutes or even an hour without making a single cast. I went out the other day on Arbuckle, and I never did see a big fish. I finally caught a few small ones, 2 I think. But you see as we put back to the, go back toward the, it's panning out in front of the boat. I don't see any fish. I'm just drifting here. But panning back and forth. Okay, here's the way we set them up. We're going to go over here. We got this on. This is my Livescope right here. This is the boat. It's sitting right here, and it's reading straight down. This is behind the boat. This is out in the front. I like to keep it out there, and my settings are what Josh taught me to do. I mean, I haven't gone out and set it a million different ways and checked it out. So if some of you disagree, that's fine. You probably know way more about it than I do. But if you buy this unit and you want to set it up, I got it out here about 40 feet. You can have it out here. It's actually at 45. You can have it out here at 50 or 60, 90. You go to menu and set forward range. You see I've got it set at 45 feet. If I want to set it out here, go down and set it, say at 66 feet. Let's just set it at 65 feet. That's what it looks like. Now I'm going to go back where I was right there. So now I'm reading out. Now I'm reading out there 65 feet. Now that's fine, and you're seeing further, and you say, well, that's really good, Jimmy. That's a lot better. You're looking out there 20 yards. But your objects are not going to appear as large. So what you want to do is kind of get it where you really like it. And oh, there's a fish right there. See that fish right there? There's the fish right there. And we're drifting, and so we can see those fish. That wasn't a real big fish right there. It looked like probably a 3 or 4 pounder. All right, so that's how you want it. Now it's set on 60. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit my menu. I'm going to go up there to my forward range, and I'm going to back that down to about 45, because that's where I've been running, 45. I'll do a lot of experimenting as time goes by, but right now 45 feet. So we're only out there 15 yards in front of us is all we're reading. And we're doing that. We're going to hit the done. We're going to go back there. All right. Now we come back here where we are. We're 45 feet. Okay, now here's a couple other settings. You got this setting up here. You got your depth range. I like to keep the depth range down a little bit below where it is. Now, so I got it there. I'm going to move down just a little bit. See, if you move down shallower, you make your picture bigger. See what I've done there? But now I can lose my bottom fairly quick. So I'll go down just a little bit more. I want to keep my bottom down maybe about 5 foot above the bottom of my locator. That's where you can see the best. Depends on what water you're in. Now I'm only in 17 foot of water, so if I move this down, you see what's happened there? Everything's got a lot smaller and it's moved way up. So I want to move it up shallower, about right there. That's how good down. Now everything's big. That's grass right in there. And that's a hard bottom right in there. It's a little bit of soft bottom, hard bottom. All right, so that's why I set my depth. I'm gonna go on down a couple feet, go 25 feet. And now I'm getting a little shallower. I'm gonna move it clear up to 20 feet. You see what happens? Everything got bigger when you did that. All right, so I'm gonna go back. And I got that, and I'm gonna go over here. Let's look on our gain. Your gain you can do, I got this set a little high probably. I moved it up a little bit. You're gonna run it from about 50 to 70%. 60% is a good place to run it. That's about 60. I kind of like 55, 60%. You might run it as high as 70. Probably not going to run it much higher than that. Probably not going to run it much lower than about 50. That's where you want your gain. All right, let's go back. Okay, let's look here what we got now and go back to my menu. Sonar setup. I've got go to my sonar setup. My noise appearance, I got my appearance forward. I'm reading forward. You can set it where if you want. Oh, that's your color scheme right there. Of course, I've got orange crawfish. You can use a lot of different colors. If you want to change the colors, there's all the colors. Black emerald, that's what it looks like. You might like that better. Midnight blue, that's what midnight blue looks like. Red shad, I kind of like red shad right there. Orange crawfish, and I simply set mine on orange crawfish because I've been fishing with Josh a lot. That's what he uses, kind of what you get used to. Okay, here's a couple things right here. Noise reject, you want to keep that on low or medium. You see what it changed there when I change it over to medium? Change it over to medium, it's knocking out a lot there. You can't see as good. So you can have that on medium there if you want, but and same I'm gonna put it back on low. All right, I'm gonna go. I got that on low. Yeah, I got it on low. I'm gonna go back there. I got that on low. Your TVG, you can put that medium or high. Again, run that on low if you can. You might have to run that on medium. Again, go back, and that's really what you want there. That's about the way you want it set up right there. And as you move that around, you know, as you go down through there, you want to scroll back and forth, and you're looking for fish. All right, let me stand back up now. All right, I'm gonna go back. All right, now I got my full screen up there again. caught myself on a crankbait. Caught myself on a crankbait. That's all right. All right, now here's the other thing. Here's what we're doing. We're running this thing and we're simply scanning back and forth. As we move along, we're scanning back and forth and looking out in front of us 45 feet. So that's exactly what you're doing. You're watching for fish on here. As we scan along, we're just simply looking. We run a trolling motor really relatively high, usually at least 7, sometimes all the way up to 10 because you can cover a lot of water. But let me tell you, I usually run mine about 5 or 6 because I'm just not quite as good at identifying fish as my buddy is. He runs his on 10, panning back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, looking for a big fish. Now, you're not just looking for fish. You're not looking for a wad of shad. If you see a wad of shad, you see a big fish on them, that's what you're looking for. Usually, if you see shad, a big bass will be above the shad, not be below it, but above it. Here's 2 or 3 keys that you need to remember if you're trying to catch your personal best, your biggest bass ever, maybe the biggest bass in the lake that you're fishing. You want to be looking for big fish. So you look for a big fish. If you put a big umbrella rig on and wind it in, that's kind of about what a big fish looks like. He's big. He's a lot bigger than the other fish that you see on there. Your fish will show up the way I've got it here. They'll show up as big white specks. See, like, look at that fish right there. Look at that fish right there. Look at that. That's a good fish right there. That's a big fish. That's the kind we want. When you bring your bait by, when you're pointing at that fish, keep your locator pointing right at that fish. Bring your bait by, you will actually see that fish come after your bait. One of the frustrating things that you have in this type of video game fishing is you have a lot of those big fish that will follow the bait and not bite it. They follow the bait and not bite it. They'll follow it and then boom, go right down the bottom and disappear. You'll not see the fish that's laying on the bottom very often. You'll not see the fish in moss or grass very often. You'll not see a fish in a real thick tree. They got to be in trees that don't have many limbs on them, laying right out beside them. They shine like a new dollar. Once you kind of get accustomed to what you're looking at, and it takes hours to do it, but once you get accustomed to looking at, you can find big fish. But if you're going to go search for a hunt for big fish, your PB, maybe the biggest fish in the lake, maybe a new state record, you've got to be resigned to the fact that you're not going to catch a lot of fish. A sensational day would be to catch like 15 or 20 bass. I mean, that's where they're really biting. But most of the time, you see a lot of fish and they don't bite. Here's some other things to keep in mind. Big bass are mostly going to be moving. That's right, moving. That sounds strange, but big bass will mostly be moving. If you see a fish that's sitting still, a big one, probably not a bass, probably a gar or a carp. A gar, you can kind of tell them because they're long, skinny. A carp looks a lot like a bass. But if he's sitting in one spot and he's not moving, it's probably a carp, not a bass. But if that fish is moving, the big giant bass are constantly moving. That's the biggest surprise to me in this type of video game fishing, is that the big ones are constantly moving. And in fact, one of the keys to be able to catch them is when they start moving is to watch which way they move, throw your bait out in front of them. Pay attention on your scan. Are they out here 20 foot away from the boat? They 35 foot away from the boat? They 40 foot. If he's 15 foot in front of the boat, you don't want to make a 40-foot cast. Just throw it out there about 15 foot, drop it down, keep it above him. Drop it down, wind it in above that fish. Whether you're fishing a swim bait, a crankbait, a spinner bait, we've been catching them early in the year on an Alabama rig. As we move later into the year, I don't know. This is brand new to me. This is the year 2020 is going to be, it's just going to be something to figure out how to do all this and get better and better at it as the time goes on. It's like a brand new way of fishing for me. And how it can help you in tournaments, obviously, is you go out and fish a tournament the way you normally fish it, catch your 5-fish limit, go look for a giant. Go look for a giant. The big fish are going to be moving. They're going to show up as large fish on your scales. And once you find them out there, then you want to throw a big bait that a big fish would eat. And try to throw in front of the fish. As you see these fish swim, you'll see a largemouth has a big head. Carp doesn't have that. They got their heads just the same as a regular body. You'll see their big head, you'll see their big tail swimming. And it doesn't take long until you can identify that. So it's pretty easy to see the big fish. All over the country, biologists and state departments stocked a lot of big Florida bass in a lot of the southern states like Oklahoma and Texas, Alabama, Georgia, pure Floridas. These are the biggest fish in those lakes. We have a lot of small lakes here in Oklahoma. Some of them are city lakes, some of them are just small lakes, power plant lakes. but where they stock those Florida bass, and many of them are up there 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pounds. That's the fish that we're looking for when we're looking for these big fish. Now, will this unit help you everyday fishing? Absolutely. This video and what I'm talking about and what we're showing you today, and you saw what we caught out there today. Not many fish, but you saw that one that was just absolutely a giant. I had another fish out there today that was the biggest fish we saw on the screen, probably in excess of 11 or maybe even 12 pounds. And I must have had a nick in my line because, you know, with throwing the Alabama rigs, you get the line wound around the head a lot. You was fishing in a lot of brush and cover, and it must have had a nick in it. I set the hook and loaded up on him, and 20-pound test line broke. Didn't even begin to pull 20-pound test, so I know it had a nick in the line. But so this is the way to catch really, really big bass. Is it easy? Heck no, it's really hard. But this is the way to catch a really, really big bass. Sooner or later, I'm gonna catch a bass that beats that 13-1, and I'll probably do it seeing that fish on Livescope before I cast at him. Guys and girls, we hope you enjoyed this video. I know we didn't have a lot of fish on it, but they were big fish. There's difficult fishing out here, but it's a great way to catch your PB bass. That's it, your personal best bass. Don't forget to subscribe to Jimmy Houston Outdoors YouTube. Hit that little bell button. We're gonna be having tons and tons of how-to videos to help you catch not only big fish, but a lot more fish too. Have more fun doing it. Guys and girls, I love you.